Does this VOD start? Oh, okay. All right, here we go. All right, Game 3, SK Telecom versus Jin Air Green Wings. Get your pillows ready. We're going to sleep now, boys. Okay. Rise banned away first, followed up by Gangplank. And Kog'Maw being banned by SKT. Oh, really targeting Teddy as ADC pool. Teddy is a player, some people that have been watching my stream for a really long time, or if you watched me cast LCK a year ago, I think that he is top 5 ADC, or I haven't seen him recently, top 5 ADC in the world. And I think that if you would have said that to anyone, they would have been like, who? Like, what? See if Zoe ends up getting banned. Kalista not banned, Ezreal not banned, Zoe not banned. So maybe SKT knows something that we don't. Azir first picked. I think he's the strongest mid laner. I think he is the tier 1. Like, not the tier 1. He's the top of tier 1 mids. Well, with the exception being Zoe. So Zoe's open, but perhaps something's going on here. All right, so Gnar and Ezreal are picked up. I don't like that by SKT. I know that Ezreal is one of Bang's go-to champions, but this lets Jin Air draft in a way that they can just pick a turtle comp. And then Ezreal basically just falls off after like the 4th item or so. So this can get a little bit ugly. I really hate proactive picks. Like pairing Ezreal with Gnar is really rough. Immediately, just in your first rotation. I think that's honestly a little bit sloppy. But maybe they just don't want Teddy to get Ezreal. That could be the thought process. Tom Kenshin Sivir, and then SKT ends up picking up Janna. All right. Ban phase now. Zoe is finally taken away. But that's a little bit strange, because if Zoe was going to be picked, I think SK Telecom would have already shown their hand. I don't think it's really that important to ban it away, because I think that SKT has, honestly, quite a few options still remaining that they could have had with either ADC or support, had they just opted into it. Ideally, I don't know why they picked Gnar as soon as they did. Thal definitely has a much bigger champion pool than being forced to pick something like Gnar right away. Kha'Zix ends up getting picked up. That's really strange to me. And the reason that it's strange to me is, yes, you do have wave clear, right? Or sorry, wave clear. Yes, you can stall the game. Kha'Zix can get big, and you can do all that good jazz. But realistically, it's like, how do you get onto... All right, so first off, Ezreal now has option to go Iceborne Gauntlet, right? So Ezreal can go Iceborne Gauntlet, which actually accelerates the speed of bottom lane a little bit, versus if he would have gone like Triforce or Trinity Force, whatever. Ezreal can go Iceborne Gauntlet if he so pleases. And how do you get onto Ezreal? How do you get onto Janna? Like, what do you do against Jarvan? He's never going to be isolated. This guy's never going to be isolated. You don't know what the enemy mid laner is. Then again, you probably just don't even give a shit because you have Azir and Zoe's banned. So, I mean, it must be nice to run like God. So it's a little bit unfortunate for SK Telecom. I think, like, they get a break inside of this Kha'Zix pick. This is honestly a break right now. Really don't understand it. It's almost like, I feel like Shyvana basically does everything that Kha'Zix does. I don't know why she wouldn't be picked up. And then SKT locks in the Kassadin. You have Ornn top lane. God, the Kha'Zix is just so strange to me. It really is. I mean, if he gets ahead, he's very oppressive, but you shouldn't bank on opponents making mistakes. All right. Let's get right into the... Is this X2 speed? Oh, God. I think that time's just moving a little bit slower for me. Time's moving slower. It knows what's coming. Alright. Oh god, no. Not like this. Oh no. Beginning to the end, you're goddamn right. Oh shit. Oh no. Alright, let's see. Oh no. Alright. Point opening by both parties. Realistically, nothing could be achieved by either team. So, this is all completely fine. Kha'Zix should just identify that he can basically do the power farm thing that we talked about earlier, right? He can do the, like, watch, ready? He can do bing bing, right? And then he could do this, and then he could come here and then wrap back down, right? This is an opening people don't do, and they really could. Because all he needs to do is make sure that Wolf can't gank for anyone. Justice is going to be able to have his way with Faker to a certain degree in mid. You can already see that he's able to actually get some sort of control over SKT, right? All you need to do is ensure that Jarvan can't gank anywhere, because Kha'Zix gets the better end of the trade against J4 by just naturally farming. Kha'Zix is going to get the better end of the trade against J4 by counter and match ganking, especially with these lane setups. So it doesn't make any sense to me if just ends up transitioning immediately into blue, and then he's going to waste the duration. So he pings on the way. Here we go, eat the blue. This is important. Go ahead, eat it. And Wolf actually doing something interesting. He gets the blue, and then what? He's going to come over. He's looking for Jarvan, but you don't need to do this. This isn't something that you necessarily need to do. You can see he's getting a lot of intel in the jungle. He's going to come over to the Wraiths, and this is okay. This is an okay, like, variation of a jungler opening. Now, actually, wow, okay, Wolf. Okay. But still, like, with your laners being who they are, if you just give them vision coverage and everything, you're going to be fine. They trade flashes there. More valuable. Wolf's flash is more valuable than Umti's. It's because of the way that J4 works, and because the onus is on Wolf to try to make things happen in the early stages of the game, and now Umti can actually just transition into farming. Bang and Effort doing a pretty good job down in bottom lane. Faker gets the Scryer, gets some intel for his team, and now you can see Wolf pathing down into bottom lane. It's virtually impossible to make this gank work. He just gets a ward, and now he's going to get the Scuttle Crab. And this is basically what Umti should have been trying to do, and this is also another reason that I question why isn't this just a Shyvana? Why a Kha'Zix? You can make the argument that obviously, like, maybe Shyvana is easier to control in the later stages of the game than a Kha'Zix, but I think with all things considered, Shyvana would just be a lot stronger at these stages of the game, which is basically where you want her to be stronger. And then you're able to close out the game when, you know, your team is spiking. Azir is going to have so much control. Ornn is so obnoxious. Ornn can control so many things. And then also, very, very easy to dive with Shyvana and Ornn. I mean, it's easy to dive as well with Ornn Kha'Zix, but still. Wait a minute, hold on. Someone in Twitch chat saying Shyvana's banned. I thought that was last game ban. Wait a second. I gotta pause here. We're at 14:30. Am I an idiot? No, these are last picks. They're not banned. Shyvana's not banned. These were last picks. What? Shyvana's not banned? What? I'm getting trolled. I'm getting trolled by Twitch chat. God damn it, Twitch chat. Alright. Interesting, by the way, the Veigar ban. That's pretty cute. Veigar plus Gnar and Jarvan. That's actually something I was overlooking in the draft. I will make sure not to overlook that again. That just wasn't passing through my memory of champions. Like, not memory, but options available. Okay. coordinate the dive, and this is really, really bad for SKT because now Teddy is really, really far ahead of Bang, and they can't have that happening, especially because this is a lane where, again, Bang was able to go Iceborne Gauntlet, so he has a little bit of a faster wake-up than he would normally have if he was just going to go Trinity Force, and that should have been used to mitigate some of the pressure or help Bang and effort establish more lane control. And Jin Air Green Wings are at a pretty big advantage. One of the things that are so interesting about SKT, and you really got to hand it to them, is they have won, their championships, and they've had their dominance without having like multiple players be the best at every role. It's really, really quite fascinating. Good usage by Jin Air. They're creating lots of pressure on the map. They're going to pick up that Infernal Drake, and this is just so valuable. Looks like SKT really want to contest this. They're not going to be able to. Look at what Kha'Zix just got. I mean, Kha'Zix just basically got a longsword out of the Infernal Drake. So Sivir, she's at 107. What Kha'Zix is 106. I mean, she got the same thing. So that was a huge amount of gold for everyone on the team. And I mean, it's only going to get bigger. That's why I say that Infernal Drake is more valuable than First Blood Turret. It's the most important neutral in the game, especially early. Faker and Wolf come over, they get the blue. It's obviously very, very helpful against Azir, but Azir had priority on the lane anyway. He's just going to recall. He has the Lost Chapter as well. It's going to definitely help keep up with the lane control against the Kha'Zix. He's going to have a lot more ammunition to just keep shoving in the lane, keeping Faker underneath the turret, and making it more difficult for Faker to use the teleport. Thal not doing the best of jobs up in top lane. It is pretty difficult to move an Ornn, though. Game is in a little bit of a lull phase, and Jin Air, they're the ones with superior scaling, by far. And they got an Infernal Drake, so just let that sink in for a second, okay? And if you don't know exactly what Infernal Drakes can do for a team, just check out Mistress vs. SKT. Alright? Worlds 2017. Infernal Drakes are super, super big, especially when multiple members can make use of it. Sometimes you get an Infernal Drake and, you have like 3 champions that just aren't making use of it. You have a Janna support, you have like a Sejuani jungle, and then you have what do you have top lane? I don't even know. Sion or something, maybe top lane. You just have champions that they can't utilize the benefits of it. Let's rewind a little bit. Okay. So you can see Justice shoves in mid. He paths up to the red. They really want to make a fight. And at this stage of the game, they're still slightly stronger than SKT. Just because of the base scaling on the champions has nothing to necessarily do with itemizations. They do have that Infernal Drake for a little bit of extra oomph. But SKT's not really achieving anything, and this isn't something that they have the luxury of allowing to occur. So when you're looking at SKT, you're looking at like 2-3 item spikes across the board for almost all of their champions. And the fact that Jin Air is able to neutralize that just by being even, but then also having the Infernal Drake, makes it really, really problematic for SKT to recover in this game. SKT is quite far behind, even though the gold graph would not tell you that. Okay, so right here, I mean, Umti is just completely free to just power farm. The onus, again, it's on Wolf to do something. Ocean Drake, not the most important thing to pick up. It's okay to pick up, given that they are like a poke siege comp later on into the game, with the Azir, with the Ornn, with the Sivir. So they like it, obviously, a little bit more than SKT. They should just actually capture this turret here, go and get the Ocean Drake. Sonhwan has teleport. You see Justice going in. Tom Ultimate comes out. So, like, right here, they can have Justice go and clear mid, stay in river, and give up top lane. They should just get the Ocean Drake, force another thing to respawn. This is very peculiar by Jin Air Green Wings. So, like, let's just talk about this for a second. So, SK Telecom made the play to come in and try to assist, to deny the dragon capture, right? SKT has priority mid, but the problem is they don't have priority mid with a champion that can actually utilize the priority mid. It's not like the mid turret has a lot of damage on it. It's not like Wolf is over here. If Wolf was over here and then Faker was mid lane, they could shove in mid and look to make a 3-man play top lane. That could be the response to the Ocean Drake. You get the kill top lane, then you try to raise the turret. But that's not the variables that are present inside of this game. So what ends up happening here is we're going to hit play. Kosadin's coming down. You see Wolf right here. Justice goes in. Wolf EQs away. Ultimate comes out of Tahm Kench. Right here, you can have these 3 people eat the Scuttle Crab, and Justice is basically immune, right? Nothing is going to happen to him. He can come up over here. If you really think he's in danger or something, you can have Wraith go with him up until here and then have Wraith turn around. You kill the Scuttle Crab. Bottom lane is perfectly fine. Top lane's fine. You know where Kosadin is. You know exactly where Wolf is. Now let Justice get into mid lane and then have Justice push the mid lane back and then come over like this. Capture the Ocean Drake and now have your bottom lane either recall, or you can have Sivir just run all the way back down into bottom and then maybe wait for the wave that's going to be coming out here, because it is going to take some time to capture the Scuttle, eat the dragon, and then reposition down in bottom lane. Then you can have Sivir shove in this wave, and then as soon as Sivir shoves in the final wave, she recalls, Ornn goes down to bottom, Kha'Zix paths up here, Wraith paths up here, Justice maintains mid pressure, and then you have Teddy go all the way up into top lane. Ornn gets to bottom lane, pushes in one wave, walks to mid. I talked about this in multiple VODs, rotation that you don't really see happen in pro play. Walk through river, come into river, Justice and Sohan shove in mid, and then with Teddy and Wraith up in top lane, they shove the wave into the turret, they collapse, 5-man the Herald, capture the Herald, fall back to defensive lanes, farm, wait for an opportunity with Herald, scale, and then look to make a play by playing 4 members onto the left-hand side of the map inside of this square. That's the rotational play that should occur out of Jin Air Green Wings, and it's visible from like 15-30, right? Once SKT is past the breaking point where they no longer have an option in this. And when I'm saying that they don't have an option, I mean, using the restraints that are given by the game, using the law of the game, can you come up with an alteration to this that SK Telecom suddenly has a say in? No. Can't have Wolf turn around, he'll just get eaten. Can't have Faker, charge head fast into this, even with Tal's teleport, because Sohan's going to match it, and then, it's going to be disastrous, because Jin Air is just going to end up winning out on the team fight. Okay? You cannot magically take these minions and teleport them further down than they are and claim that Bang should shove in the wave so that Sivir doesn't have the option that we just talked about. No, that doesn't happen either. You cannot magically take Faker and Wolf and teleport them from here to here while also making sure that this wave is underneath the turret and having Sohan have about half the amount of HP that he has right now, and then claiming that you can just coordinate a dive. Even if you could do that, right, at that point in time, if Faker and, Wolf were over here, the option would no longer be to capture Ocean Drake. The option would then be to have Wraith go like this, and then have the remaining members go over here, eat the wave, crash it into the turret, and then Wraith zones out Bang and Effort, and then basically the turret is right here, Jin Air attacks the turret, moves in, attacks the turret, moves in, attacks the turret, moves in, and then Bang and, Effort are all the way back here, and then Sohan backs up, concedes the turret, this turret falls, this turret falls. It's not a good trade-off. It's like playing chess. This is an extremely valuable turret. This turret is guaranteed to be taken because this is the immediate location that Teddy and Wraith are forced to recall to because the neutral objective on the map is Herald. So there's no situation that is present. I think the rotation that I'm saying that Jin Air can do, obviously several minutes. I think that it is just it is without response. The only response is mechanics. It's a chess play that the only way SKT can somehow, manage to weasel their way out of it, something like a mechanical blunder out of Jin Air and SKT coming up big mechanically at some of the points where they collide. Realistically, I think SKT are hanged in a way, at like 15-30. So, okay. Okay, at this point, they didn't capture the ocean. Really hate that. Keeping bottom lane in bottom too long. Hate that. SK Telecom going to pick up the ocean. It's a pickup, but I mean, it's not really a pickup, more so as a denial. You're denying it from Jin Air. Jin Air now responding with Herald. They could have done this anyway. Lots of poor rotations out of Jin Air Green Wings the last 2.5 minutes. At least with what the state of the game was. They capture the Herald, that's okay. They should probably actually look to hold this until they have the Baron. They are so far ahead right now. Jin Air is so far ahead. Do not let the gold graph at the top mislead you. Jin Air is super, super far ahead. Faker now going into bottom lane. Don't like how he's insta-shoving the wave, because basically they should already acknowledge that they're not going to get anything out of the current state of the game, right? So you don't need to shove the wave. You can wait for the wave to come all the way up, lock here, and then slowly shove it, and then get to mid. I mean, you have the teleport available. You have teleport available here. I think it's a little bit of a macro blunder. It's because you're not achieving anything by being down in bottom lane. Because, and the reason that I'm saying that is because you're not really asserting any pressure. You know, nothing can be achieved elsewhere on the map. The game, again, it's in a lull state. Faker shoving in bottom, and now you can see the Justice just goes back and you can catch the wave. And this is going to just be a rinse, wash, repeat. Or, rinse, wash, repeat. And, you know, SKT does not currently, again, have the ammunition to threaten taking down the mid turret. Kosovan still needs more items. His Roa only has 3 minutes on it right now. You see Umti just basically pathing inside of his own jungle, not really doing too much, and it's because they don't need to. Jin does not need to do anything. This is a thing that occurs in pro play all the time, and I never actually had a way to talk about it without maybe people just not understanding until like a few months ago I thought about something. Okay, so let's say okay, so this is the goal, right? So we got 34k to 34k. Realistically, this 34k is probably something more like 38, right? It's like 38 to 39, okay? Let's say that the jackpot for both teams is 45k. Let's say that Jin Air and SKT do nothing but allow the game state to flow naturally each minute. So let's say that the passive gold gain for both parties is going to be 1k a minute. Okay, so we have 39k to 34. So if the tier 3 item spike, or, you know, a big spike that this team composition, not this one in particular, I just mean anyone, if it occurs at 45 and we agree that 1k a minute is going to happen for both parties, who hits it first? Obviously, the 38, 39k hits 45 first. That's the tipping point. So by doing nothing, you're actually doing something. All you have to do is wait for the reinforcements, right? In a way, like it's like a war movie or something. You know, you just have to wait, okay? You don't need to try to make this 39k jump to 42. The game is already over. Just be patient. Let it go to 1k. Let them get 1k. To this team, they're going to be like, oh, great, they're not doing anything. You know, we're stabilizing, yada, yada, yada. And if this team actually has even half a brain, they're going to be like, they can think that we're doing nothing, but, you know, they're in for a rude awakening. You know, like, this is like your girlfriend's cheating on you behind your back, and you're going to find out like in a few months when she ties the knot with the other guy. You know, that's all that's happening. All right? So I think that's the best way to describe it, the jackpot reference. Sometimes doing absolutely nothing is actually doing everything. Okay. And you can see it's just always going to be a stalemate everywhere. And that's fine. Jin Air should be completely content with allowing it for, you know, stalemate. Okay, well, you know, Bang stealing the blue buff. Casual. Faker has a lot more CS on Justice. But that's okay because other teammates for Jin Air making up elsewhere. Gold score is really close, but it just doesn't matter. Infernal is adding such a weight to SKT. Stalemates are gladly welcome. Now, the good thing for SKT is we are approaching that point in the game where their team composition is going to be at its strongest. It's a little bit unfortunate that Jin Air has the Infernal, so it mitigates that advantage a little bit. But for the most part, they're going to have an opening. And it should come probably within the next, like, 2.5, 3 minutes. Just looking at their items. You don't want the Blade of the Rune King on Ezreal to complete. You want the Lich Bane to complete on Kosovan. Then you want to just force a team fight. SKT needs to get an edge at this point. It's what they have to do. And, you know, you hear me talk about it all the time. I hate team compositions that need that burden is on them. Someone said the casters agreed with you pretty much word for word, but they believed SKT would scale better. No. Jenner Green Wing's team composition is infinitely scarier. So much scarier than SKT's. Kassadin scales, but Ezreal drops, Jarvan drops. Gnar is basically the same champion after 3 items. He does the same thing. Janna, same champion after 2 items. Sivir, can't say that. Azir, can't say that. Kha'Zix, can't say that. Ornn, obnoxious. Ornn items. That's just adding insult to injury. Anyone ever watch Texas Chainsaw Massacre? A guy cuts off someone's leg and pours salt in it. It's basically what the Ornn itemization does, unless you're Wraith, of course. SKT's team composition is never better than Jynneir's after 4 items. It's a lot of damage. Yep, and Faker. You can see they're really, really trying to force something to happen. Almost able to pick up the kill onto Justice there. Trades are not good enough, by the way, for SKT. If they go 3 for 3, 1 for 1, 2 for 2, it's not good enough. SKT needs to come out ahead in terms of trades. Yeah, give me the recap here. It's an understandable attempt by Faker. It really is. This is the point in the game where they need to spike. They need to force a fight here. So, if the game is going to explode, it needs to explode now. Before Umti can complete his next item. Problem is that Ornn is just so fed. Another Ocean Drake coming up. Again, it's another Drake that SK Telecom, they just want to eat. More so as a denial rather than a capture, like an outright capture. Using that Tom Kench ultimate wisely. Okay. All right. Great. Yeah, this is what we needed. Excellent. Okay, so I thought the Tom Kench ult was just to dissuade, and then they were going to peace out. But instead, they stayed, they autoed the turret, and then they did not just all run away. Also, not entirely sure why Justice came with him. Let's just take a look at this. Wait, did Justice... Yeah, what? Hello? Look, Tom Kench ult here, okay, if you want to, and then because Wraith still has Flash, worst case scenario, right? And then eat Sivir and run for the hills. You don't need this turret. This is an example of the stuff that we were talking about in all of the NA VOD reviews, right? It's good intent if you're going to use the Tom Kench ult, as long as you have the idea to peace out immediately after, right? This is, okay, again, identify, right? Take a freeze frame of the minimap, right? Hold on. Let me open up MS Paint. All right, so, I'm not a Photoshopper, by the way. All right, let's take this, and then, I don't know what I'm doing. People that, do Photoshop and stuff for, a living, they're probably, dying right now in Twitch chat. Anyways, look. Okay, well, actually, this didn't need to be that big. Okay. So, if you're SKT right now, right, and you can see, you can see all of the... let me use a different color. You can see all of this, right? You can see this, you can see that, you can see this over here, you got this, okay. What do you need to happen right now? Well, you can't get Baron. That's not possible, right? This lane is going in there, whether you like it or not. You have no control over that. Bottom lane, completely unusable, okay? Mid lane, that's it. You can't get Baron. You can't utilize top. You can't utilize bottom lane. You need a team fight. You need it. You can't siege. You don't have the firepower. And plus, Azir's just gonna shove your shit in, 10 times better than that Twink can. All right. You cannot use Baron as a bait. You cannot wait for another dragon or something. It's not like some big one's coming up and you want to just go there and try to capitalize on it. You can't do anything. You need Jynneir to come out of their shell. If Jynneir just identifies that we're gonna turtle until 4 items, and then we're gonna type lol and all in all chat. SKT just bends over. That's exactly what happens, because Kassadin is not able to just magically go. So this is also one of the other problems, is SK Telecom has a team composition that can actually 1-3-1 in theory, right? The Kassadin and the Gnar. The problem is that 1-3-1 is inherently weaker red side than it is blue. If you're blue and you draft a 1-3-1 comp, it's a lot stronger than if you're red side and you draft 1-3-1. And the reasoning for this is because whoever is in top is often met by the bottom lane or the mid laner themselves, because they need to be in closest proximity to the major neutral objective at the stage of the game where the 1-3-1 is the most important. Okay, whereas Dragon is not the most important. But also, the wiggle room inside of this jungle is not as easy as this. And the reasoning is mostly because this is a lot easier to control by the blue team with just fewer wards. This is infinitely more difficult to secure vision around, maintain the vision, and then also chase someone through and capitalize and kill them. It is so much more difficult. Okay? So if you're drafting 1-3-1, make sure that you're on blue side. Not always. Sometimes, team compositions are going to be very weak to it, even if they are on blue and you're on red. But for the most part, 1-3-1 is weaker on red. Okay. So Jin Air gives them exactly what they want, because they didn't, for some reason, Justice came. The Tom Kenchall is like, okay, but they didn't peace out as soon as they should have. They should have just ate Teddy, ran to the wall, flashed over, whatever. And also, it's not the end of the world if Teddy doesn't get the turret, right, in mid lane. Like, why does he activate ult as soon as he did? So bizarre. It's not the end of the world if you don't get the turret. You're going to get it. It's 29 minutes into the game. That turret is someone's going to take a breath and it's going to fall over. Right? You have Azir. You're going to eventually push it down. You are blue side. They cannot capture Baron at this stage of the game unless you give them exactly what they wanted, which you did. Justice dies. They go over to the Baron. And now it looks like Jin Air trying to dissuade them to the best of their abilities. SKT is remaining adamant. And Ornalt comes out, and they're fighting this without Justice. So, I mean, if you were asking me if a game looked like, there was match fixing going on, I mean, you might show them that team fight or something, and deep to the run. I mean, hell, you might show them the last 2 minutes, because that doesn't make any sense. Umpty's going to actually come over and pick up an Ocean Drake. This is really good for those exact reasons that we talked about earlier. And now SK Telecom, insistent on getting the Baron. They're going to pick this up. It's a really, really big victory for them. They need to use this Baron to get a lot of footing back in this game. So, right here, team fight ends up breaking out. Remember, Justice is absent from this entire thing. SKT recalls, they go over, they get the Baron. They have the Baron now, and now they're the ones actually in the driver's seat. Primarily just because, yes, there's a Sivir, yes, there's an Azir, but the Baron is just really, really obnoxious at this stage of the game. So a lot of turrets should actually end up going down as long as SKT does everything right. And now this is actually an instance where the 1-3-1 becomes easier to do, or what they're doing right now, 1-1-3, and it's mostly only because of the Baron. Without the Baron, it's not possible. The Baron adds so much buffer and periodic damage to the turrets that the inefficiency that would normally occur by just shoving waves in, like, look at that. Look at the amount of damage that Faker's getting on this turret because the minions are just too strong and Justice can't just insta-wave clear them. Without the Baron, this would be so much easier to do. Wave clear games begin. So SK Telecom is ahead by about 7k gold. Problem is how much is that Infernal Drake worth? Are we reaching points where it's a pickaxe for Sivir, pickaxe for Kha'Zix? Is it a blasting or a needlessly large rod for Azir? Because then it really starts to speak volumes about, like, what is it doing? And I understand that, the passive of items and stuff can't really be accounted for, or, I mean, you have to account for that when you're talking about gold leads and stuff. It doesn't matter if something is giving a pickaxe, if someone's getting the benefit of, like, an eye edge passive, or yada, yada, yada. But still, it's really important to factor in, especially because SK Telecom, without Baron, without Elder, they don't have a way to crack bases. Basically, this was a team composition that Kha'Zix and Ezreal get really big, 2-3 items. They blow the game wide open. They get a gigantic gold lead, base level lead. Nar's tanky, Jarvan's tanky, and they dive. You can even notice Jarvan's actually pure tank. Because they don't need him to be doing damage. Bang and Faker should be able to get all the damage that they need out inside of a team fight as long as they have the front line to buffer for them. Okay. Elder just goes over. Now SK Telecom, they're going to be able to have Elder and Baron. So this is really weird. Jin seems to be just panicking and not really knowing. The speed at which they're juggling the lanes is becoming problematic. And this is actually a thing that I talked about in, what game was it? 100 Thieves or something? Where the speed at which you push a lane becomes increasingly more, and that is really okay. That was a very, very big, that was an investment that you do it because you're angry, not because, like, you had to. That's like when a mosquito was on your arm and you smack it, but then it flies away and then it flies into another room and you're thinking to yourself, this fucking piece of shit. You get up, you pause everything that you were doing, you go to, like, locate it, and then you think of, like, what is the cruelest way you can kill that thing? You get, like, the Axe body spray and you get the lighter and shit. Like, you go full out trying to kill that thing. And it's not worth it. You know what? You end up missing the deadline for your essay and you fail your class or something. That's probably how Jin is failing right about now. It's just not worth it. So anyways, back to what I was talking about. Jin you don't just go up to a minion wave and push it. Watch. See what Teddy's about to do? Well, this is different because they're actually in close proximity. Okay, this is a little bit different. I'm sorry. SKT, all that they need to do right now is 0-2-3. 0-2-3. Yes, I'm fully aware there's an Ornn. I am also aware that there's a Sivir, or, you know, like, there's an Ezreal and there's a Janna. So there's also a defensive REQ that can come on a Wolf, and that can stop stuff dead in its tracks. Really, really bizarre. SKT not utilizing a 0-2-3. Like, this is the team that's known for macro. It's known for knowing how to close. Also how to hold on. So, really, really bizarre. And if you're unfamiliar with what is a 0-2-3, so basically you put 0 up in top lane because you don't need it, right? You have Kassadin be the melee champion with the Lich Bane, right? And you have Gnar be the range champion. I talked about this earlier on in another VOD review with Ryze Shen, right? Melee ranged. So you have Kassadin and Gnar in top shoving in, right? Gnar autos the turret, Kassadin basically zones, add assistance, maybe he R's forward, Lich Bane proc or something, or walks up Lich Bane proc with like a Null Sphere, and then he R's out, you know. Slowly but surely you whittle down the turret because someone has to respond to this. So you 0, 2, and then 3. Now, if they try to Sivir and Ornn engage, or, I mean, actually, that's kind of scary. Tahm Kench ultimate would be pretty scary if your 3-man ends up getting flanked, but then the 3-man just basically has to play around an area that Tahm Kench would be able to offer a flank or something. But even still, I mean, you would have double teleport available. Kassadin would be there in like a second. And then even if Kassadin goes there, if they commit all 5 members, it likely means that this turret is falling. And that's a trade SKT can take right now. So, like, if SK Telecom ends up losing Bang, okay, down in bottom, like, they lose Bang effort, but they get, like, 1 kill and they get the turret, it's worth. It's just infinitely worth. Because eventually, Jin cannot keep up with these trades. Like, when you're starting to talk about major neutral objectives. Really, really bizarre that they don't execute the 0-2-3. They could even do a 0-3-2. Actually, 0-3-2 would be a lot safer, I think. Yeah, 0-3-2 would be safer. That would be the better play. Finally get into the base. And when ultimate comes out. Now, Ornn doesn't have his ult up. So why hasn't Thal just immediately went down to bottom? Like, as soon as the Ornn ult is dodged, right? Disengage, disengage, disengage. Fine. Go. Just go. Right now. Get there. Pull them away. You're more mobile. You're quicker. Kassadin stays with the team. All right. This is another instance where now all that they have to do is execute, again, a 0-3-2 or a 0-4-1. Control mid, escort the minion waves up until Baron's up, fall back through the blue hand side jungle, clear all the vision, capture the Baron, then push again. Except in that instance, a 0-3-2 guarantees that all three inhibitors will be exposed. That'll be a bare naked lady. You know, you don't regroup. This isn't silver solo queue. Look at bottom lane. Like, what is happening? So this is a byproduct of SK Telecom not clipping their lanes at correct times. Look. Nara's going down bottom. Okay, Nara's going down bottom, and Jin Air is actually they're coming out onto the map. Nara goes bottom. Like, okay, now Nara recalls. Faker almost dies. Has to flash out. Jin Air really hell-bent and keen on trying to get that Baron. Jin Air ends up getting the Baron, and now they're in full retreat mode. And you can see that SKT is trying to basically say now or never. Now, this is a weird fight. And the reason this is a weird fight is because it's A, fought from a weird angle. Sivir does not have her ultimate. Okay, Ornn does not have her ultimate. Umti doesn't have his ultimate. So, this is sort of an unfair fight. Faker is coming in with a perfect flank that he would otherwise never be able to have. This has nothing to do with scaling or anything of that nature. How doesn't the game end? What? Hello? You don't need mid-minions. What is Thal doing? The minions were coming themselves. He should have just gotten the inhibitor, and then they should have rotated down. Okay, well, it looks like same thing's going to kind of be achieved, but they lost the whole wave down in bottom. Okay. Elder. Alright, let's take a look at this again. Wolf ended up failing the smite. Pretty good effort to try to steal it. SKT, there's like no way they can lose this. So here's the part where it sort of just becomes like, how do you manage to botch this? Now you just group as 5. Let the minions do their things. They have to all come in at the same exact time. All the minions need to come in at the same time. Look at the wave clear on Azir and Sivir. Okay, poor usage of Mega Gnar. Alright, so let's this is like one of those really weird, unique spots where trading bodies for turrets becomes ideal. Like, if you can have a very bloody fight and Thal or Wolf ends up going down, that's worth it. That is just entirely worth it. There's no way that Jin Air Green Wings is able to launch a counterattack. It's basically like, you know when you're... oh God. imagine, you know, it's sort of like watching the movie 300 or something, and you can sort of just begin to pick away at them, and then the phalanx falls, you know? Like, they kill you, and, you know, to them, it's like, oh, good, we killed someone. You know, that's really big. Like, right here, right? Like, see this? If Faker's not over here, and then Thal does this, and then everyone just hits the turret. The turret goes down, and then you have a kited out fight, like kiting backwards and stuff. At the end of the fight, right, even if Janair wins, they're going to look around, and all they're going to see is just desolation, right? Like, minions are still in their base. They have to clean that up. They can't push. It doesn't matter if they went 2 for 1. You know, it doesn't matter if they got 3 of them. They cannot push. It's not possible. As long as a few members of SKT still stand at the end of that fight, it's fine. I have no idea. But I'm not saying in this exact moment that you burst down the turret. I'm saying that you look for something like this, by the way. Like, you could have Jarvan with, like, Guardian Angel, right? Wait for the minions here, wait for here, right? EQR, and then just cost it in, you know, I don't know, Rift walk forward, Lich Bane this, or, like, walk forward, Lich Bane it. Bang autos the turret, effort auto the turret, maybe buy a Sork Elixir thing. Thal autos the turret, he Mega Nars, pins them up again. You get the turret, and then you play a kited out fight. You're gonna lose bodies, that's okay. You're trading pieces. You're ahead in chess, right? You still have your queen, you know, they have less pieces than you, and you're not trading them. And it just doesn't make any sense. Int for tower, yes, it's correct. Inting for tower here is not bad, especially when you have a GA. You're gonna res out. It's gonna be an extended, you know, it's gonna be a kited fight, and that fight is going to take time. And while that time is happening, minions are knocking on the door of the last one turret, and it's you know, it's 7v5. It's double super minions. This isn't something that you can just neglect. So while the fight is ongoing, even if they get one of you, one of their members needs to turn around. It's just how the game is going to go. It has nothing to do with Tom Kench. It doesn't matter if they get the people out of the Jarvan ult. The Jarvan ult's not for damage. It's not looking to deal damage. Unless you're trying to say that they Tom Kench ults, you know, someone to a lane, but that doesn't matter because the minions aren't present. And then if members of SK Telecom are still alive, they can dance with the minions. And they can slow down the... It doesn't... Let's say, best case scenario, Janair clean aces or something, and they get 1 inhibitor out of the whole ordeal, right? Like, not completely clean ace. They get 1 inhibitor. It doesn't mean anything. Like, there's still 6 super minions coming in from every single lane, and SKT is still going to be in the driver's seat to get the next Baron and Elder. It doesn't matter if the state of the game looks a little bit uglier if it's not. It doesn't matter how something looks. I have no idea. What are they? Brother Bang. Hello? What are they doing? Baron! Just get the Baron! What? What? Brother Bang! What are you doing? Oh my... Okay, Janair recovering. Janair shouldn't be able to lose at this point. Because the game is stabilized. They have Baron. They have an inhib backup. They have Ornn upgrades, unless your name's Wraith. SKT shouldn't have lost. But now Jin Green Wings, I don't see how they can ever lose. Especially because they have both turrets still up. It's not even like Faker can just plant a ward in their base and threaten to backdoor with like Lichbane. I don't know why Faker's still on his Ionian boots though. That's very bizarre to me. Even if you're making the argument that he's valuing the CDR, there's other items that you can get that would give you the CDR. You can get like Abyssal Mask if you really want it. Abyssal Mask would be fine. I mean, hell, you could even get Nashor's Tooth at this point. Your auto attacks would get so much ramp. But then I assume he would be over CDR if he's running Transcendence. If the argument is that he wants the MS, then maybe Luden's Echo. But I think that it's either or. I don't think that it's ever both in this situation. Okay, so Jin Air is really fighting. They do not want SKT to get the Elder. Basically, the only way SKT should be able to even have a chance at this game is with that Elder. And you look at what's happening in bottom lane. Hold on. I'm curious why... I'm really curious. Just trying to think actually what happens. I wonder what happens if Faker and Thal. This is the spot where I actually don't know, and I get uncomfortable in these spots, but I love them too. Wonder what happens if Faker and Thal back up and then teleport here together if Faker has Sork Elixir, because then the response is that Sohwan teleports here. And then the remaining members are left without a true engage. So now SK Telecom backs up into the river. Even if Jin Air goes up here, they can't. They have to go at the team because Sohwan can't stall on his own. So now someone's forced to recall. And then after someone's forced to recall, you've successfully gotten yourself out of the situation. Because now the 3 remaining members can advance into mid lane, while the 2 members at Faker and Thal can actually just go through the red-hand side jungle, unite at Elder, capture Elder, and then push in mid lane, which is where the primary pressure from Jin Air was. I don't think there's a way out of that for Jin Air Green Wings. Let's see, because basically if you take Faker from this position, and or like from a few seconds ago, and you take Thal, and you back them both up, okay, into the Fog of War, which we already know that Jin Air Green Wings doesn't have any vision over, they can teleport onto this minion right here, right? Now, because it's, it's a Lichbane, and it's a full item Kassadin, full item Gnar, right? You have to channel teleport on Sohwan, so Sohwan comes back. Sohwan comes back, someone from here recalls. Because someone from here recalls and SK Telecom are the ones with primary vision control, they can go into mid lane, they can probably hold up here or over here, and these members are forced to back up. If the remaining 3 members, or 2, or whatever, try to advance into the river, it's then met by a Kassadin and a Thal coming this way, and now Sohwan doesn't have teleport. Sohwan's late to the fight as the primary engage with Ornn. They get the Elder, they take the Elder, and they shove it right down mid with super minions coming down into bottom. Now they shove it up mid, they get this inhibitor, they get this, and then they can use that to reestablish control over the side of the map. I think that's a checkmate. I don't think there's a way out of this for Jin Air Green Wings. It doesn't matter about Tahm Kench ult. Not in this spot. Well, you can... Okay, so wait. Maybe what you're trying to propose is that you Tahm Kench, like what, you run here with Justice, and then you Tahm Kench ult here? Faker's just gonna kill him. Doesn't it? Faker's gonna jump on him, Wraith's gonna eat him, and then Thal is just gonna kite. So you're gonna use Tahm Kench ultimate, you're gonna get yourself out of that predicament, but the problem is that they get to still kite back through their jungle and unite with their teammates and get the Elder. It takes SK Telecom out of this situation. Sivir plus Tahm? No. You want to take Sivir and Tahm down into bottom? Sivir's just going to die. She can't... I don't think she gets the damage out in time. Like, Faker and Thal can react. Like, even if... Because, realistically, Sohwan doesn't have a... like, what? You want him to TP... Oops. Sorry. You want him to what? TP here at this ward or something? Like let's say that he TPs to this ward and Thal and Faker are here. They can now just peace out like this. And you can Sohan ultimate. You're not catching a Kassadin. You're not catching a Gnar, right? And worst case scenario, I mean, he blows his flash, right? I guess this way you made them kite out, but you're not getting to pull all 3 of these members to Elder. That is never happening. That's just a pipe dream. Unless you keep Sohan back and then you bring Tahm Kench and Sivir there, and then you try to go to the Elder and capture it, in which case Faker and Thal turn around and get the inhibitors. But then you have Elder versus inhibitors, but then the Elder duration expires, and then you're still down inhibitors, and you're also down 3 fresh inhibitors, which is very different from being down 3 inhibitors. I don't think there's a way out. I do not think there's a way out of this. It's not about SK Telecom waiting and getting a free inhib just from the minions. It has nothing to do with that. They're in a weird situation where the inhibitor alone will not end the game, and Jin Air can actually hold on to their position in mid lane and also threaten a realistic team fight that can enable them to capture Elder whilst retaining advantage and control over mid, which at this stage of the game with the death timers at 60 minutes, it truthfully does threaten end. If the team fight ends up going completely awry, like right around here, okay, and Jin Air comes out with like 3 members still standing or something, it's very easy to end the game if SKT gets aced. Even if they don't get aced, specific members can still hold on. So the thing that I'm proposing, right, is that Faker and Thal teleport down to draw the teleport out of Sohan. If Tahm Kench ults, realistically, I think that whoever comes with him just dies. I don't think there's a universe where Faker and Thal can't just kill them, even with an Ornn ultimate or something. I think that with both of them having flash available and just how much damage they can offer, I don't think that Tahm Kench can save the champions. So with this being said, you pull the teleport out, you pull away their position from mid, you reestablish position from mid, and then you get to kite backwards into Elder as Faker and Thal, and then capture it with your team, go to mid, and then push down mid, and then axe the top inhibitor too. So, and I'm saying this with the assumption that Faker kills the inhibitor with 2 Lichbane procs, and then, you know, a few autos from Thal, maybe in addition to the minions. In the situation that we proposed the argument of Teddy and Wraith, and this is a situation where I don't know, and I love these and I hate these because I don't like not having the damage foresight or the foresight to really concretely talk about how damage will occur and, you know, what can be absorbed and what can be dished out. So if they come down here and Ornn ults here, and then Faker goes up, and then Thal goes up, and then these guys just basically peace out, and then Ornn comes into the base, they trade inhibitor, and then, you know, 4 people arrive here, kill the Drake because Thal and Faker no longer have TP. They get an Elder Drake, but the problem is that the Elder Drake's duration has to be used immediately because they're now down 3 inhibitors. So I think that's still a loss. No matter what, I think that fork by SKT is a checkmate. I think. Well, I mean, it gets them into a position that they failed to close earlier, but I think it's infinitely better than any of this garbage that they're doing right now. Yeah, you're talking about a steal, but a steal is not an argument against a macro positional play. You know, if a play is going to work like 90+% of the time, and your argument is a steal or something, then that's not an argument. You know. Faker would be enough. Well, yes, but Faker isn't enough by himself to kill the turret. Like, see, Faker Thal demands someone else come back with Sohan. Faker alone doesn't do that. Sohan can hold him and stabilize at the Nexus turrets. I mean, I guess you could argue that actually you can refine this a step further and be like, Faker gets this, Faker gets that, Faker gets this. Right, and he can just be really slippery. I mean, I guess that's a proposal. That's an alternative. But Faker Thal offers to end the game, and then it offers you the Elder with the final game push. Whereas this one, if you just bring Faker down and you have him go 1, 2, 3, and then back out, you don't have the Elder, and it delays a little bit. Yeah, I know Ornn can never solo kill a Kassadin, but the point is that Ornn can't. Ornn can hold on to the Nexus. That's all that I'm saying. No, Faker and Thal. Well, it's not an assumption, Jerry Tong. It's not an assumption to ask who would win 2v2. There is an answer, I just don't know it. And the game is at such a point where the damage foresight for me is unclear. So it's awkward. It's not an assumption. Nothing is an assumption. All of this is numbers behind a screen, and things are the way that they are. The only thing is, human decisions and whatever. But there is a clear answer to who wins, a mass amount of or a mass percentage of the time in those scenarios that we were proposing. To say that that's not true is that's just false. What do you mean, sure? I don't understand. You're telling me that 200 damage, if it says it deals 200 damage, it doesn't deal 200 damage. That just doesn't make any sense. If you're talking about dodging skill shots in something, there's nothing to dodge. Kosovan has a rift walk. He's landing on top of your face. It's not like he can misclick null sphere on a minion. Okay, he's not you. All right, and there's no minions nearby, even if there was. All right, Gnar auto attacks. Like, what's the argument? Gnar's gonna miss a boomerang? Great. What's the percentage of the time Gnar's gonna miss a boomerang? That's not a real argument. That's not analysis. There's a high percentage. It doesn't matter if Seaver has all sums. We're talking about a 6-item Kosovan with Lichbane. Those aren't real arguments. Something is likely to happen. And when I say likely, I mean a high majority of the time. That's why sometimes you can look at tower dives and you can see someone really mess up. Or you can see someone basically do the impossible and survive. Like something that requires the opponents to mess up and them to do everything right. That's why those plays are so fantastic, is because everyone and their mother and their cousin would just call it as it is, like it's over. All right, so we're 882 CS. I never said SKT fights 3v2. You weren't paying attention to the drawings and stuff, if you think that I said that. Unfortunate, the minions are too far away in bottom lane. If SK Telecom can actually just hold this... Yeah, they can do it. Yeah. Okay. Kosovan's in bottom. Just stop the recalls. Okay. Well. This is miscommunication, in a way. Oh, Ezreal doesn't have ult. It's not as bad. Kosovan shouldn't pull the trigger as soon as he did. He could have waited. He could have waited for more certainty. You know what I mean? Needed to see all 5 champions, needed to know exactly what was going on. These are the type of plays. So basically what they just did to Baron is what I was talking about they could have done to Elder. To really just force Jin off their ground. This is pretty good. If Justice summons a Dark Magician and declares a direct attack, I mean, SKT just, they lose, Okay. Faker could have just waited a little bit longer, and the same thing would have occurred, except there would have been potentially more. Gain, but it still ends up working out for SKT in the end anyway. So okay, they have Baron. They have one job right now. The problem is that in an even fight, even with the Baron, it's not really enough. They need super minions with that Baron. The scaling from Jin is online. It's really, really, really hard for SKT to close out now at this point. But they have to just get a few inhibitors. You can see Faker really hard pressed to come up with an answer. He's going to finally manage to get an inhibitor. Now all they have to do is rotate it one more time. Also, it's just one Nexus turret. Yep, rotate. Yep, they got the second one, and now one more. Okay. Didn't need to flash by effort. And this is a problem. See this? Faker is... This is an error. Right? So watch this. See this? See this wave? See this wave? You cannot just go and shove this and have it run down. Because what ends up happening is wave comes in, cleared. Wave comes in, cleared. Wave comes in, cleared. Rinse, wash, repeat. And it just keeps happening endlessly. It's literally insanity. You cannot have all 3 lanes come in at different times. Just a little bit offbeat. They could have just waited a little bit longer. See, they got to work on this lane sooner than they should have. They got to work on it just a little bit sooner than they should have been allowed to. And these type of things matters in these instances. Every little second counts. Look at the waves. This is coming in. This isn't even here. Look at these things. They're down there. SKT is almost. It almost looks like they're panicking. Not panicking, but like they're really eager to end the game. Yeah, this is the problem. The lanes are coming in unevenly, and now they take a team fight. Justice manages to stay alive. They get Umti. I don't know how they can just suicide someone for the turret. No, what is that teleport? Lock up the turret. What? Okay, just get the turret. You can die. If one person dies, it's okay. Just get the turret. Are you trolling? Fall, just all on the turret. No! I'm tilting. Turret! What it? Just turret! I'm having an aneurysm. Coma, can you get them a chessboard or something? I don't understand. Maybe we need some fucking group risk nights at SK Telecom House. I don't really know. God. No, it's not the same result. They could have ended. Well, they it could have been way better. Actually, let me see. Could they end? Hold on. Thal ult the turret. No, Thal. All right, Thal manages this a little bit better. This gets to like here, and then Thal just jump in ult and just get the turret. Like, Thal has GA. He can die. Run up. God. Get the turret. Look. See this? See that? Instead of this, how about we just hit this? Great. Turret down. And then you just kite backwards. You lose one member, you back up, and then you wait. You wait for the death timer, and then you do one more final approach, and the game ends. But when you do the final approach, right, you're going to have the Baron, you're going to have the Elder, and then you're just going to wait. You're going to wait for all 3 of the lanes to line up at the same exact time before you crash them in. It's all that you need to do. I think Faker really valuing the CDR is kind of weird. I mean, with 40% CDR, Kassadin's ult is like, what, isn't it like 0.2 seconds or it's like 1.2 seconds or something? It's pretty hard to misposition. You can just get Luden's Echo if you want the MS. You lose out on the 10% bit of CDR, but I don't think it's as important as the extra... Well, maybe the CDR is more valuable because you're not going to be overkilling people. It's really thin, the 6-boot, 6-item Kassadin in a game state like this. Okay, so you get Baron, you get Elder, and look at the lanes. They're a little bit ugly. They look like Twitch chat. I'm just kidding, Twitch chat. I love you. Okay? I love you. Yeah, there's Summoner Spell CDR, but you're not worrying about Summoner Spell CDR at this point in the game. Like, CDs are all being blown at basically the same time, and often you're going to be waiting for your teammates anyway. If your cooldowns come up a little bit sooner, then you're still waiting on your teammates. Too close to home. Look at this! This unevenness. Someone needs to teach SKT about OCD. Look at bottom lane. Hello? Is that a ZZ Rot? That's great. Alright. We need all 3 lanes at the same time, but they don't have access to a lane. Those super minions from bottom are the most important. Like, oh god, this is like watching a horror movie. I don't even know. I did not sign up for this. God, they keep pushing in uneven intervals. Oh, this is hard. Oh. Okay. They just keep pushing it uneven intervals. Hey, there's bottom lane. Yeah, just right on time, buddy. Right on time, bottom lane. Oh, this is insane. Oh my god. I wonder if Wraith isn't getting an Ord item strictly just because he doesn't have any. Wait, hold on. They showed the gold. Is he just constantly buying elixirs? Let me see. I'm waiting to see it. Rapid fire cannon Sivir. Let me see the gold on Wraith, please. 800. Yeah, that's why. Well, wait, 1,000. Wait a minute. 1,000 is better than elixir. Hold on. Hold on. Please let Wraith get like 2 CS. Wait. One item's better. Oh, maybe he's looking for the double redemption. Is that still okay? They're not synchronizing their push, and now they're being greedy because Baron's coming up in like a minute. There's no reason to be looking for the end again. Yeah. Oh, this is so awkward. One thing they could try to do is they could try some like guerrilla warfare stuff where they get the 3 inhibitors, they wait for Baron, they get the Baron, right? And then they just don't push. They don't push. They let the lanes like come out and stuff. Maybe they try to get like some wards around here or stuff. They double teleport Faker and Thal. Sohan teleports back, Tahm Kench alt-sees back, and then Faker and Thal just peace out and they charge it wherever Justice, Teddy, and are. Like, that's the, or well, one of those guys would be missing. But like, I think that they, at this point, that would be a realistic tactic that they could try to use. Yeah, they need guerrilla warfare now to come back into the game. Get the Baron, line up the outside of generic green winning space with wards, utilize the double teleport to get Sohan's teleport, steal the Tahm Kench ult away with whoever else, and then just go balls to the wall with Bang Effort and Wolf on, you know, whoever's left for slim pickings, and then just jump on them and get 1 kill. So all that you need at this point is 1 kill. I mean, you can even utilize ZZ Rot portals at like a distance outside of the base that entices Jin Air to come out. Or like, at least in 1 lane. Like double ZZ Rot 1 lane or something. I don't even know. How about they int for Nexus? No. Death timers are too high. If they int for Nexus and don't get it, they lose. I hope this game never ends. Me too. Me too. This is exactly what I wanted. Alright, Baron buff. Yep. Here we go. 1 more time. Oh, so obnoxious. Oh, look at how they... Like, look. Ready? Look, no top way. All right, so they're going to come in. SKT's going to bring in the mid lane. Not do anything with it, right? No pressure coming from top lane. Look at where Faker is. Now they're gonna shove in bot lane. Look at where mid lane is. This is the definition of insanity. God, it's almost like you could see Faker's frustration with those clicks. All right. Oh my God. See that ward right there? Double teleport to it. Okay, well, faded. All right, Elder one more time. Is this the most Elder Dragon? Yeah, it has to be the most Elder Dragons taken in the game. Is this ×2 speed? Oh God. Oh God, what am I looking at? Those are the most inefficient Z0. God, they don't even go out of the base. This is one nightmare you can't wake up from. Oh God. I don't think Jarvan should have boots anymore, by the way. I think Jarvan should... I don't even know what Jarvan should have. I don't think Jarvan should have boots. I think she should just have Deadmans. Like, either have Deadmans or have, like, Trinity Force. I don't think Gnar should have boot. Well, Gnar's a little bit more acceptable. Why does Janna have boots? Hello? What are these itemization choices? I think everyone's brain is just sort of like farting. I think that's exactly what's happening. Kha'Zix should... Ornn does not need boots, by the way. Ornn is just a siege engine that does not need boots. Ornn should probably just actually be like Phantom Dancer or Static Shiv at this point. Bang's got the NA build. Oh God. Okay, he sold his items. Shouldn't they take Thornmail? Thornmail wouldn't be terrible against her, but the problem is she's just gonna heal through the damage. It's not terrible, but she's going to heal through it. Normally, Thornmail is pretty good, especially when like they don't have a lot of magic resist. But like Azir has it. Azir's just gonna heal through it. Brother Bang. Wait, hold on. Whoa. Wait a minute, hold on. Wait a second. Wait. Is this fucking replay? Wait a minute. Brother Bang died there earlier this game, didn't he? Wait, is this a replay? It's the same fucking spot. It's not a dick, dude. It's a mouth-based video game. What am I looking at? Brother Bang. He's like, oh, I misread the script. I did chapter 19 when I was supposed to do chapter 12. He's like, I'll get it right this time. He like dies in the same spot. Oh, man. What are you thinking if you're SKT right now? Oh my, okay, Faker's doing actually exactly what it should do, but it shouldn't matter. It doesn't matter. They're just too tanky. That's an Ornn. Oh, I thought they were going to be able to get one turret. I really thought they were going to be able to get one turret right there. Okay. So, SK Telecom, they stabilized for a little bit. The problem is you look over at SKT now, right? And their summoners are way more exhausted than Jhin Air's. The fact that Sohwan, Wraith, and Justice still all have their flashes and stuff available is really, really scary. That's really, really, really scary. Can't even imagine. How, like, sweaty everyone must be, too. No, go rule 34 on me, Twitch chat. Slow down. Alright. Is that even... I don't even know. Where's the Ornn item? Oh, he finally got it. Okay. I just saw that. At this point, it's Jinair's game to lose. Realistically, it's Jinair's game to lose. They just need to plant, like, I mean, they need to plant, like, this up here, and then they push out mid after, like, clipping top here. So, like, top, right? See this wave? Let's... God damn it. You're fucking ruining me teaching Twitch chat. Oh, what the hell? Don't mind me, I was just looking at Rise. Alright, hold on. That doesn't look like Rise. That looks like fucking Rule 34. No. Alright, listen. Alright, so, Twitch chat, I'm trying to teach you something. Alright, so, he's cropping my mojo. Alright, he's not... What the fuck? Alright, so imagine you're Jinair right now, and you come up to this wave, right? All that you need to do is kill these three and then leave it. And then place the ZZ Rot down here, right? Oh, you probably can't see this color. Place the ZZ Rot down here, okay? And then this lane shoves out, you clip these three, this lane will show push, and then you just go up mid. And then by the time you get up to mid, this wave stockpiles up top, the ZZ Rot thing is pushing down in bottom, and you can just basically stalemate mid lane until these lanes are in a good enough position. That's all that you have to do. Alright. It's a good way to end. Oh shit, you saw him on minimap? It's a glitch. Oh god, it's a Mordekaiser bug. Alright. Alright. Hide on bush. Alright, what's going on here? Who was the EU coach from forever ago? He, like, loves ZZ Rot Portal. Leviathan, right? From, like, Alliance. He's probably, like, looking like Stan's dad from South Park. Like, the post-ejaculation photo. Leviathan's, like, watching this game, seeing all the ZZ Rot portals and stuff. That's just like him. Mother of God. Alright. Jinair gets the Baron, boys. Alright. How long until NALCS? I don't even know. What time is it? Am I still asleep? Oh god. 93 minutes. Oh my god. Alright, Baker is piecing out. That is a very quick getaway. What? No! Holy. Does this VOD start? Oh, okay. Alright, here we go. Alright. Game 3, SK Telecom versus Jinair Green Wings. Get your pillows ready. We're going to sleep now, boys. Okay. Rise banned away first, followed up by Gangplank. And Kog'Maw being banned by SKT. Oh, really targeting Teddy as ADC pool. Teddy is a player, some people that have been watching my stream for a really long time, or if you watched me cast LCK a year ago, I think that he is top 5 ADC, or I haven't seen him recently, top 5 ADC in the world. And I think that if you would have said that to anyone, they would have been like, who? Like, what? See if Zoe ends up getting banned. Kalista not banned, Ezreal not banned, Zoe not banned. So maybe SKT knows something that we don't. Azir first picked. I think he's the strongest mid laner. I think he is the tier 1. Like, not the tier 1. He's the top of tier 1 mids. Well, with the exception being Zoe. So Zoe's open, but perhaps something's going on here. All right, so Gnar and Ezreal are picked up. I don't like that by SKT. I know that Ezreal is one of Bang's go-to champions, but this lets Jin draft in a way that they can just pick a turtle comp. And then Ezreal basically just falls off after like the 4th item or so. So this can get a little bit ugly. I really, really hate proactive picks. Like pairing Ezreal with Gnar is really rough. Immediately, just in your first rotation. I think that's honestly a little bit sloppy. But maybe they just don't want Teddy to get Ezreal. That could be the thought process. Tom Kenshin Sivir, and then SKT ends up picking up Janna. All right. Ban phase now. Zoe is finally taken away. But that's a little bit strange, because if Zoe was going to be picked, I think SK Telecom would have already shown their hand. I don't think it's really that important to ban it away, because I think that SKT has, honestly, quite a few options still remaining that they could have had with either ADC or support, had they just opted into it. Ideally, I don't know why they picked Gnar as soon as they did. Thal definitely has a much bigger champion pool than being forced to pick something like Gnar right away. Kha'Zix ends up getting picked up. That's really strange.